Hey cats, it's Rich Bonn with Habayit Home Loans. I want to start off with some great news today. The housing affordability for Greater Houston was just released. This is comparing Q3 of 2025 to Q3 of 2024. And housing affordability actually increased. The amount of money that you need to make to purchase the median home dropped by about 1.9%. That means that more people are able to afford the median price home in Houston. Now, what is that balanced with? The median home sales price did tick down just a little bit, but the big help that we've been getting has been with interest rates. And with the weak jobs reports that we've been getting showing that people are not being hired as fast, or that unfortunately there have been layoffs, that's just going to put more downward pressure on mortgage bond yields. What does that mean? That means that your mortgage interest rates are going to fall, God willing. So what are we looking at? We've got a Fed meeting coming up in December, and the Fed, right now, they're basically saying if the government shutdown doesn't end quick, there's not going to be a rate cut because they're not going to get their BLS data, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I call it the BS data. That's a whole nother story, but they're not going to get their BLS data, and they're not going to get some of the other data that they rely on to make decisions. So not only do you have folks that are putting pressure on the government to, the judges putting pressure on the government to end the shutdown, but now you also got the Fed saying, if you don't end the shutdown, we don't have the information that we need in order to cut rates. Now there's some good news. There seems to be some movement in this. The Democrats and Republicans have actually decided to start talking with each other again. This was like a really bitter family feud that has been going on too long. I mean, we've got folks who aren't getting paid. They're still having to work, or folks that have been furloughed or lost their job. Now let's talk about one other huge thing though. This year, there have been announced over 1 million layoffs from major companies. This is the worst layoff year, first 10 months since October of 2009. Now, if that doesn't give the Fed pause, and if that doesn't make the Fed think maybe this job market is not as healthy as we think, I'm not exactly sure what will. That being said, however, we do have bright lights. The housing affordability is definitely a bright light in here. We have some other great bright lights too. Listings that are 11.8% new listings year over year. Pending listings, they dropped a little bit, but that's because we've had closings. Showings are up 5% year over year. So if we take a look at the market activity in Houston, the market activity in greater, bless you, Jelly. Jelly's down here if you can't see her. If we take a look at the market activity in Houston, we do see that we've got a really good market shoring up for the fourth quarter. Now, if you're a real estate agent, a financial planner, or a tax prep cat, and you're either looking for new clients or you're looking to have people who are, high net worth individuals that need to get write-offs, one of the things I've heard people advising is that investment property is a great way to decrease your tax liability. And if you get something this year, it could help. I'm going to tell you, one of my favorite loans to do is what's called a debt service coverage ratio loan. I don't need 15 Xerox paper boxes full of tax returns to get you approved. What we look at is we're going to look at your assets. We're going to look at an appraisal. You're going to have to make a down payment, but you can get that asset right into your portfolio, put it into your LLC, and talk to your tax cats, because that might help you decrease your tax liability. And seriously, who doesn't want to pay less taxes? If you got any questions, go ahead and reach out. Once again, this is Rich with Habayit Home Loans. I love that housing affordability is getting better. I love that we're seeing more activity in the markets. And I love that, God willing, there's going to be an end in sight to this shutdown. Have a great week, y'all.